impeaching President Trump. House Democrats passed 2 articles of impeachment last night against the president: abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. President Trump shrugged it off during a rally in Michigan. He said it was, in fact, Democrats abusing their power.
By the way, it doesn't really feel like we're being impeached, do you? The country is doing better than ever before. We did nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong. And we have tremendous support in the Republican Party like we've never had before. So yesterday I sent Pelosi a letter denouncing and condemning her party's outrageous abuse of power. That's what it is. They have nothing. They're the ones that should be impeached, every one of them.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has yet to send the articles to the Senate. I want to talk about that right now. Joining me right now is Texas Congressman, ranking member of the House Ways and Means Committee, Kevin Brady, and Michigan Congresswoman, House Energy and Commerce Committee member, Debbie Dingell. It is great to see you both. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
So in terms of Nancy Pelosi waiting, sitting on those articles of impeachment, Congresswoman, let me ask you about that. What is that going to mean? She wants to see more clarity in terms of what a Senate trial will look like, right?
I think that's what she articulated last evening. Well, no, she's got leadership meetings, and I think she doesn't want to see the Senate play games with such a serious issue.
Because, you know, Senator Lindsey Graham came on my program, Sunday Morning Futures, a couple of weeks ago and said, look, this is going to be either dead on arrival when it arrives, or we're going to get through this as quickly as possible. But how does the president's policies get impacted, Congressman? Because, you know, you were integral, obviously. You and your team wrote the tax legislation. You moved the needle on economic growth. The policies in terms of deregulation have worked. Will the president's agenda get impacted by getting impeached by the House?
No. The bottom line is the president shrugs this off. The American people have shrugged this off. They see it for what it is, just a political hit job on the president. The challenge always is it makes a toxic environment even more toxic. And delays really important legislation, like on drug pricing and on surprise medical bills, issues we can and we're working together on before this. But at the end of the day, I think he moves on in a big way. I'm worried about the speaker delaying this. I think playing more games, sort of this perpetual impeachment, it isn't healthy for the country. I think it's good for the Senate to declare the president innocent, move on. We got a lot of work to do.
So it feels like, you know, she wants to stay in his head. You know, just keep this going so that he's on his toes while they decide what the next steps are.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Is that the agenda?
Yeah, I don't know why you take the most historically partisan and the only partisan impeachment in American history, so divisive for this country, and why you extend that longer. That just isn't healthy for Congress, certainly isn't for the country.
Congresswoman Dingell, you've been with me a lot. You've been really moderate and tried to look at things practically. We really appreciate that. President Trump took aim at your late husband last night during his campaign rally in your home state of Michigan. Let's take a look.
Debbie Dingell, that's a real beauty. So she calls me up like 8 months ago. Her husband was there a long time. But I didn't give him the B treatment. I didn't give him the C or the D. I could have. Nobody would have, you know. I gave the A+ treatment. She calls me up. It's the nicest thing that's ever happened. Thank you so much. John would be so thrilled. He's looking down. He'd be so thrilled. Thank you so much, sir. I said, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Maybe he's looking up. I don't know.
You responded to the president. You tweeted out this, Congresswoman, Mr. President, let's set politics aside. My husband earned all his accolades after a lifetime of service. I'm preparing for the first holiday season without the man I love. You brought me down in a way you can never imagine, and your hurtful words just made my healing much harder. Congresswoman, I'm sorry about this that happened last night. This was completely, I don't know why it was so unnecessary. How are you feeling?
I'm back doing my job because that's what I've got to do. So yesterday was a very difficult day for this democracy. And I think we know that, and I think Kevin and I both know that we've got to bring our house together, and we got to keep working on the issues that he talked about. So I think it was a very, just a hurtful A shot, by the way, my husband earned those accolades. He was buried at Arlington Cemetery because he's a World War II veteran, longest serving member in the Congress. He was not laid to rest in the rotunda. And the president isn't the one that does that, it's the speaker and the majority leader, and I didn't want to do anything out of the ordinary. I just wanted my husband to be with his friends. So I'm doing what he would tell me to do, which is to work with my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. Unfortunately, the Senate's got more than 400 bills that we have yet to act on, and I think we've all got to move forward before we go into next year's election with promises we made to the American people to lower drug prices. We're going to vote on NAFTA today. I told you we'd get it.
You did.
And I think that's a bipartisan win. We all we work together. There were improvements that we needed to have for our workers, and that's what I'm focused on today, is to keep moving forward on the things that matter to the people in my district.
And John Dingell was loved on both sides of the aisle.
So Chairman Dingell was very gracious to me as a new member coming in to Congress and trying to learn my way around things. Truly one of the lions of the House, at least during my tenure. And I think, you know, I think leaders and elected officials in both parties could do with a little civility these days. Our kids are watching these debates. You know, another generation is watching, and we really have to, I think, up our game here as far as finding ways to express our differences without being personal. And I do think here we have a chance today to go from historically divisive yesterday to historically united. The new USMCA passed out of the Ways and Means Committee by voice vote this week. The first time I've ever seen a major trade agreement find that much consensus. And I will tell you this, President Trump's trade team, Ambassador Lighthizer, a year and a half ago said we're going to rebuild bipartisan support for trade in Congress, something I didn't believe they could do. They did through this agreement. It is the most pro-labor, pro-environmental agreement in history, and on top of that creates a new, I think, some new models in digital trade and some of the new economy that really works well for not just America, but all three countries.
This was a significant win for America. You're talking about upwards of 200,000 jobs created as a result of USMCA, right?
And you've got to, it's not perfect. You know, that's what legislation is. It's not perfect. There are things that I'm still concerned about, but I'm going to work with my colleagues on both sides of the House. It's not going to bring, for me in Michigan, where I still have many empty plants across my district because of NAFTA 1.0, it's not going to bring those jobs back, but I don't want to see any more jobs leaving this country.
You are comfortable with the changes in terms of the enforcement of labor conditions, right? I mean, there were some tweaks made. You're happy with what has taken place?
I'm worried, but I'm not attacking. I'm going to keep working with my colleagues to make sure that those issues that we're still worried about. And I don't want to hurt Ambassador Lighthizer by saying, I really enjoyed working with him. I think he was.
And I do think, Debbie, I do think there's a chance those jobs come back. They estimate about 76,000 new auto jobs. They won't all be in Michigan, but you guys are the heart of this.
Back to this
it's
country,
crucial.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I want to look at the one holdout on USMCA and what the problem is in terms of why you are seeing some pushback in the Congress.
So on the Republican side, I think it could be unanimous or near unanimous in support of this agreement. On Democrat side, I think there's going to be a historic vote for this. I think it represents, one, the original agreement from a year ago is the most pro-labor, most pro-environmental. But this last fine-tuning, this last 1%, was important because it assured Democrats and Republicans alike that this agreement would be enforced, all of it. In Mexico's transformational labor law, we would be not just embracing but helping them and holding them accountable. All that has added up to a remarkably consensus agreement.
What I'm referring to, obviously, is Pat Toomey. He's written an op-ed this morning in the Wall Street Journal. I'll vote against this anti-trade agreement.
There are, you're going to see a number of members in the House vote against it, and I've sort of made news here because I had not told people how I was going to vote until here. The environmental community is very worried, and we've got to continue to work to make sure that we are addressing many of the environmental issues in Mexico, but what I want is my workers to be under a better treaty. So it's not perfect, but we don't stop working to make it better.
Congressman Brady, let me ask you about one of your colleagues, North Carolina Congressman Mark Meadows, will not seek re-election. We understand Fox News has confirmed that news this morning. He will not seek re-election. What does another Republican retirement mean for the GOP in 2020? Now, we understand that he may very well be headed to the White House to work for President Trump.
Yeah, so the short answer is it means nothing. I think we're on a path to take back the House, and the reason I filed for re-election was because I'm convinced we are going to flip the House in the next election. And as chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, again, we're going to refocus off of impeachment back the economy and growth and jobs. I think Mark Meadows has new opportunities. I mean, I think we could continue his seat in Republican hands, but look, that's a big loss. He's been a leader in so many ways. I know for me, on our economic issues, has been hugely, not just helpful, been a key leader for me.
When and if you do take back the House, are you going to do another tax cut plan?
So we're going to focus on growth. Yeah, we're going to continue to work on the middle class. I want to make sure America has the most innovative tax code on the planet, because since we passed tax reform, 6 countries have lowered their business tax rate.
That's right, yeah.
They're not standing still. They want to get a leg up on us. We're not going to let them.
Taking a cue from America. Congresswoman Debbie Dingell, we wish you the best this holiday season. Good to see you. Congressman Kevin Brady, always a pleasure.